Hey everybody, I hope you're all having a great day so far today. Well, my morning's been pretty nice actually. It was not quite as rushed. So yeah, I'm ready to jump right into programming, I think. Um, okay, so yesterday we finished up all of the selection type stuff and began on some netcode to send the selections to the server. So today I guess we'll finish that up and then we'll move on to generating the actions from the selections, which will also necessitate me to update the abilities and audio because that's part of this function. Or not abilities, animations. Well, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, so. Well, I mean, it'll be kind of a big project, but it's not going to have much difficult problems in it, I don't think. But anyway, I'll just use for these two monsters just to test to make sure everything still works. Yeah, so choice message sender completed, and now we just need to request all the selections from the server, which will not be difficult because I think the server already handles requests. So all I have to do is just actually send the message on the client. So we'll get to that right now. Oh, hey, Ice Boy, good to see ya. I'm doing pretty good this morning. How are you? I had a bit of extra time, so it was nice to not feel like I have to rush so much this morning, so. Let me see, okay, so do I already have an option for this? Or not option, class for this. So I have the message sender. Okay, so this one we receive from the server. Okay. So yeah, I have them in separate classes. I don't really think that's needed. In generation, I have something like this. Let me see. Is it this class that does it? No, that's the data class. I guess it's, no, that's the error message. This one? Okay, yeah, it must be this one. Oh, good to hear you're doing good too. Okay, so yeah, this is really simple. I think I'll actually just copy this class. Okay, so, just to make things easier on me, I guess we can just do this. Let's just, but I'm gonna rename it because we don't get actions from the server anymore. Okay, so yeah, request from, I guess let's just call it server or selection requester. Okay, so that's obsolete. And this, I guess we don't really need this either. So I'll just, even though I know this is a comment, I'm just going to mark it as obsolete so I remember that I don't need it. So I just need to change this player selection state. Oh, that was wrong type. And then this generation verify is the data that will like hold what we receive from the server. So I guess I should just make a new class for that. Let's see. I guess I'll just call it. We could just call it from server. So look at the all, I guess it's using tactical lizard tamer networking. I think it's just like all selections message, but yeah. Okay, so the rest of this, yeah, so we really just need these classes. But we need this for the events, and then these two we need for the or to grab messages from the server. Should be player selection phase change. So I'll come back to that. So this for each message will give us messages from the server, but I need to make a new event because this is for generation info. So we actually want, I guess, turn selections, message received. And again, the difference between a message and an event is that an event will stay in the queue until something actually uses it, whereas an event is removed at the end of the frame, even if nothing actually listens to it. And that's just because we don't want to ever miss a message from the server. So this will be request turn selections. So yeah, it's all pretty simple here. All selections, message. So we'll use this message reader to read the actual object from the message. Or I think this is the network message from Unity. And so now we'll get the data we actually care out of it. Okay, so I just gotta change a bunch of types here mostly. What's this complaining about? Cannot convert from action turn selection message received. Maybe it's just because there's these other errors that it's been confused. Okay, so yeah, we'll set this message sender to active whenever we're in the request phase. Okay, and then if we're in phase, then we'll also deal with this. So if... Oh yeah, we don't actually get this. We get the event. Okay, so that's what I was confused about. Okay, so here we store the message in this object so other classes can use it. We set the sender to be inactive, so it stops actually sending messages because we got the data we want. And then I queue the complete event. So yeah, we just need to listen to that complete event and then we'll progress to the next phase of this, which is just going to be the cheat detector, basically. Okay, so what is it? I just call it error check. I guess that's fine. Okay, so now in the play controller, I need to initialize this requester and also the from server object. Okay, so requester. And this could just be normal. Alright, so let's go ahead and test that. Taking a while to compile. Oh, it usually does take a little longer the first. Oh, we already have played it actually. I was gonna say it usually takes longer the first compile of the day, but oh well, that's okay. So, oh right, I need to actually choose some selections. Okay, so client. So something's not working right. Let's look. So client sends a request and then servers. Oh, it sends it. Oh, I see. Okay, so I forgot to change the client message channel. Let's go back here. See, this is still on request battle generation, and it should be request turn selections. So did I mess this up as well? Okay, no, this is, I changed the channel here, but not sending. Okay. So what was happening is I was requesting the battle generation info, and then the server was just sending that back to me, but I didn't actually want that at this point, so the game was just halting. Okay, so now it worked, because so the server sent us back the turn selections. And then, yeah, we queued that we're complete, and so then we switched to error check phase. Do I have... I know I have a class for that already. But this? No. Oh, here, it was right in front of my face. Okay, yeah, so there is a lot of logic here, so I'll try to reuse as much as I can. I guess I could just... I'm gonna select everything, just press Control A. Okay, so first of all... well, I would like to rename it, actually, so let's just... rename this to error checker. I don't really need to have the choice selections at the beginning because it's already in the namespace. And nobody else is really going to have be needing to access this class, so we don't have to worry about name collisions. This flow logic Tamer, and again, this parent class is just so that we can interface easier with the event systems. Okay, and so we have a bunch of stuff here that I can just get rid of because that's all the old event system. We need local connection. Okay, I'll wait that because I mean, I'll leave this because I don't really know what it's for. Okay, so we'll need the action sequencing, and then this has, wait, no, it's the sequence selections. Okay, so right now this contains all the selections that we have made ourselves on this local client. Again, I might want to have like a unique class for that. I don't know. Okay, and there's nothing interesting here, so I'll just delete it and regenerate the constructor so I don't have to type all that. I don't really want to use that namespace though. And there's still an error because I need to send the event queue up to the parent. I wish that Visual Studio was smart enough to do that automatically when I generate the constructor, but not a huge deal. And then I just need to create this list. Okay, so here we're waiting. Oh yeah, so yeah. The logic here is a bit strange because in the old system we had to wait until the next frame to actually do any logic, or we could risk some errors. So, but we don't really have to do that anymore with this new system. So we just need to listen for when the phase changes. Okay. So just insert that there. So, okay, so now I actually need the state. It's getting too long. Gosh, we're using a whole lot of objects here, but that's okay. Oh yeah, I don't have an instance variable for this yet. Okay, so yeah, if state equals error check, or if the phase is error check, then we'll actually run this. Okay, and so this is going to fire if everything is complete. So I can just fire the complete event, which I need to declare up here. And if there is an exception, then we would just queue. I won't do that. A new, was it play exception event? Okay. There we go. Yeah, so I don't need this at all because we don't have to do that tick helper thing. This is where, of course, most of the logic is. So first we... Well, I don't think I need this really anymore, but... I guess I'll leave it there in case. Okay, so this turn selections list, this was the local selections, which for now is just what's stored in here. I don't actually use this class anymore. It won't ever be null, but... Okay, I see what's going on. Okay, so I'm not gonna... Well, I guess I'll leave this in here, but this was before we would have a catch-up thing that if we disconnected and then we tried to reconnect in the middle of a turn, we would try, like, we wouldn't actually submit any selections, but we would just get our selections that we made earlier in the turn back to us. But I think what I'll actually do in that case is the game will just go ahead and finish the turn and then you can reconnect. Or no, that wouldn't work either. Probably everybody will just exit back to the lobby for now, but later on that would be kind of annoying if there's frequent disconnects, so I don't know. But anyway, so this is just saying that, yeah. Well, I don't really want to worry about this for now. But I guess I'll leave this in. So yeah, if we didn't send any selections in the sequence, would be 0. Okay, so we'll grab all this stuff we've made, and then I guess maybe I should clear this list because we're going to rebuild it. Okay, so yeah, we just store everything in here, so... Okay, so now we're going to look through every client that sent a message in here. And so if it's local client, obviously if the local connection is the same. Okay, and so then we get the message that we actually sent. Not contained. Oh, because I renamed that to selections, because before we assumed that there was just one selection per player. That is not necessarily true. If the length is 0, that's okay, I guess. Because we could say that we made no selections this turn. Okay, so this is turn selection message item. Okay, so I think this is going to go through and yeah, so this is checking to make sure that the oh, okay, I see. Okay, yeah, so this is just translating the selection from the network message to a game logic selection so we can add it to the list. Okay, so let's check duplicate player. Okay, well, I don't want to do this anymore because, again, this is enforcing one selection per player. I guess the client IDs could have duplicates. I should probably check that, though. Okay, just to clean things up, we can optimize this later, but I think I'll move the instantiation of this just into the method. Okay, and then we'll need a hash set received from clients. There, if received from clients contains okay, let's do this. Client ID. So yeah, we don't want to get two messages from the same client. That doesn't make any sense. So if this happens, we would just say the message was corrupted. Okay, so anyway, back to this. Okay, this get ability index just... Okay. Yeah, so these messages send ability names because we can't assume that the index in the database is the same between all clients. So we just go based on the name. And so I need to translate that into an index for the game logic. So that's what this is doing. Okay, so now I'm checking that the player index and the monster index and the option index are all valid. So if they're not, we throw a error. Okay, and then I check to make sure that the player's team actually contains the monster. And then I check that the monster's prototype actually contains the ability so that the monster could actually use that ability. This might be too strict for now, but I'll leave it for now. Okay, yeah, and then if we sent selections and this is the local client, then we would remove an expected selection from the list because we want to make sure that the server didn't like change our selections from what we actually wanted. That's what's going on there. Okay, and now I can just add this to the sequence. Okay, so if the expected selection is ever greater than 0, then we would say that the server is like changed our selections. So that's what that message is. Okay, so I don't need to do that anymore. Okay. So I think that's about it. Some of this is a little long, but that's okay. We'll probably have to come back to all these error checking things later as the game gets more complicated. I'm not too worried about that. So now we need to initialize this. And it didn't need any specific other like objects I need to instantiate. So here I'm just gonna check when is the sequence cleared. Okay, so I clear it when I enter the make selections phase. Okay, so I guess that's fine. Did I write a note? It's just... I don't know. I'll come back to it. If I ever... Like right now, I'm just going to assume that if somebody disconnects, everyone's going to need to exit to the lobby. We probably will want to have a better system in place later. But... well, if somebody disconnects during a turn, we'd exit to the lobby. Because yeah, then everybody's states would be unsynchronized. I don't know. Okay, well I'll just write a note. Maybe not in beta 1. Which I should actually put a to-do thing for this. So yeah, exit to lobby. Or let's see. Handle disconnections. Okay, so the thing that's difficult. Okay, actually, maybe I should just do this now. The only thing that's going to be really hard is if we have crashed and we have to load back into the game completely. Well, no, this is going to be too complicated. I just want to get back to the gameplay loop. So yeah, handle disconnections better, and then yeah, just the main difference is like if it's just a simple disconnection, simple, yeah, one player loses internet, but all clients' states are still synchronized. The difficult thing is that if a player crashes, yeah, so one client crashes and has to reload into the game. This one's difficult because this client doesn't have the state of the game anymore, so it would somehow have to grab that from the server. So, which I don't support yet. And depending on where the rest of the client's states are, they'd also be like in mid-turn. So it's kind of complicated. I kind of think that if this happens, we either need to bring that client up to speed or have everyone exit to the lobby and reload from the beginning of the turn. This is way easier, but it's kind of annoying, so... But I guess crashes aren't that frequent, so it might be okay. I don't know, we'll have to see. Okay, so I'm just thinking right now, what happens if you do lose internet when you're trying to send this? I guess you'd be disconnected. Oh, I don't think this would send anything yet. Okay, what actually handles this? Oh, it's in this file. Okay, so the message sender. Okay, it doesn't actually check to see if we're connected. I wonder what would, like if we're disconnected, this would probably throw an error. Or maybe this client. No, it doesn't. Okay, so how do I know I'm connected? Okay, well, yeah, let's just not worry about that for now, because I don't think it's going to be that... Like, I kind of know how the flow should go. So if you get disconnected when you're trying to send a message, you'd pretty much just freeze there until you reconnect, and then everything would start back as normal. So that's not really an issue. but I don't think that actually works how I want it to just yet. But yeah, we'll need to test that, and I don't really feel like testing netcode right now, so this is all not gonna be very useful. Or, well, I don't feel like testing netcode with 2 players, which we'd have to do in order for one to disconnect. It's always a bit involved. So anyway, let's just continue on here. So I need to listen for the complete event for the error checker. Okay, so on voices validated. Okay, so now once that's done, we can just do a final ready check. Make sure that everybody says that the choices are good. So this is a really simple ready check. I think I already did one. Yeah, here. I think I'll just copy this class pretty much. Even the name. Arctic Visco, C. Okay, so this, yeah, so I'll need to change this to player selection state. And this should be player selection phase, final check. And I need to change this ready check type to play choice selections check. So now we say we're ready. Okay, so that was easy. I've thought about having these like final ready check managers be somehow a generic class, but I don't know. There's so little code here anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so now here we just need to subscribe to the complete event. Alright, and so I guess we advance to inactive now, and I would send out an event that I'm complete. For the play phase manager to deal with. Like I did here. Okay, so this would be selection. And then player phase manager. Okay, so now we can move from player selections to player action generation. Okay, so let's test all that. Make sure all those phase changes work. And then, oh, actually none of this would actually happen because the server, does it handle this ready check yet? I don't think so. So let's do that real quick. So, play flow manager. Okay, so yeah, it's just one of these simple ready checks. So we get an event whenever a ready check first is complete, where we've received a message from all clients. So it'd be choice. No, I keep on doing that. It's a choice selection check. Okay, and so after this, we would move to actions calculation. And then we want to send this ready check type back to the players to say that they're good to go. I think that's all I have to do there. Okay, so what's going on? Oh, yeah, it's waiting for me to actually input. Okay, so something's not working right. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so error checker is complete, so it's doing final check. The client is sending choice selections check to the server. The server just says the ready check is complete, but okay, so the server does change phases. What's going on here? Okay, yeah, the server sends this back, and then yeah, everything's just reacting to the phase change. But the client is still sending messages, so probably I have... Okay, yeah, see, this is wrong. All these enumerations. Actually, I think that was the right thing. So we want to listen for this type of ready check, which is the same as that. Okay, so now... Oh yeah, it's still waiting for me to make an input. I always forget that I actually have to click things now. Okay, so now it's switched to player action generation, which is what I want to happen. Okay, so this phase, I pretty much rewrote the majority of it because I had to make it work both during the play phase and the map generation, because I switched the way save files worked. Used to, they would save a list of actions that happened on that turn, but I thought, well, why do I need to do that? I can actually just store the selections that were made, because that's all the input really. And so that's what I did, but I had to make it so we could generate the actions from those selections. And so I've done most of it here, except I realized I didn't actually have to finish that test at that point, so this last function is not completely supported yet. But also, yeah, so this was like the old namespace, but all of these have been replaced pretty much. But let me, well, there will be something, what am I trying to think of? Some classes that we'll still need, because yeah, this action sequencing should be, I think, things that will happen during the play and generation phase, but this action logic will happen only during the play phase. So Let's rename that. So play action logic. Is that the right name for it, I wonder? Maybe we should call it like action generation, I don't know. Because this will contain things like the netcode that's required for this to send to and from the server, and error checking and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to rename this namespace here. So play action gen. Okay, and also I used to call this the ordering phase, so I'm going to want to rename it. Okay, this is... Oh yeah, I'm going to need to update the stat request too, now that I think about it. Okay, but let's rename this to, I guess, just action engine. So, okay, so I don't need this start wait anymore. That had to do with the old reconnection system, which is not really needed. So first, yeah, we'll need to... Okay, so I don't actually have to have a separate phase for all this because this is like within this action sequencing phase, so... Okay, and that was for after turn effects. Yeah, that would actually be a part of this. So really, okay, so we just need to yeah, generate and then send to server and then request. Oops. And then error check. We don't have to do this final wait anymore, but we'll have a final check. Okay, so that's a lot simpler. Okay, well I guess since I'm done with this, let's go through and delete some of these classes that aren't needed anymore. Just before we move on. That one. Maybe I already did clean up. Yeah, so this one. Okay. But what I wanted to do is here, I just want to grab this event and class so I don't have to type it all up again. Okay, so that's all pretty simple. Okay, and then I want the flow manager, I guess here. So let's just rename this to action gen manager. Or actually I could just do something like flow manager. So a lot of this won't be needed anymore because it's just going to be, I changed the way a lot of this code works. I don't, yeah, it doesn't even care about connections. Really, it just needs the state. Okay, that's, yeah, that's why I don't want to call it the state because, well, I also need like the the play state. So let's just do action gen state, I guess. And then we'll need and since this wasn't a comment, it didn't update that namespace. There's nothing really interesting here. Okay, and yeah, then I just need to get the events again. Oops. Okay, so yeah, I don't care about getting disconnected anymore. But I do need to know when the phase changes. And this listener, turn phase change, so and don't really have to do any of that. It's just if play state turn phase is player action generation, then we would start our work. So I do need the advance. Yeah, I need this function. So that whenever we change the phase, it will also queue an event. Okay, and so yeah, this advance phase to generate. And this is all pretty complicated, but there's nothing really that I need to remember because most of the complication just comes from the old reconnection system, which in general was too complicated. Okay, so now that's up to date. Well, pretty much all of these classes aren't going to be needed anymore. Anything that has to do with sorting. So let's just system obsolete. I think I might want to keep track of this class because it'll actually be the last phase of this, of the action sequencing I haven't done yet. So actually, let's just create a new thing. So okay, so this will again be just a flow logic container. Okay, and so we'll need the action sequencing. And do we even need that? Okay, I forget how do you jump start the system. Oh, okay, so you just send this event. And then all I have to do and all that needs is the sequence selections to be filled up. Okay, so this is actually a really simple class. I don't think I need... Okay, well I just need the state, so private action gen state. Okay, and then I'll want to subscribe to the phase change. Okay, so if state. Okay, Twitch dashboard has been so strange lately. It says I'm offline, but OBS says I'm still online. So I'm gonna trust OBS over the dashboard. But yeah, I guess let me know if I do go offline for real. Okay, so yeah, if we're in the generate phase, then okay, well, I guess I will need to. Oh, well, no, all I need to do is just cue that action sequencing start command event. And then I'll need to listen to when the action sequencing is done. Event exists, listener. Okay, there's another. Oh yeah, complete event. That's what I was looking for. On sequencing complete. And what I would do here is just fire a complete event of my own. Oops. Didn't auto-complete that for me. So yeah, if we're in phase, then I'll just say that it's complete. And last but not least, I want to handle an error from the action sequencer. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Events. Well, no, I guess we'll have to make sure that we're in phase again. Play. Is it play X? Why is it not showing up? Oh yeah, because it's in the play flow, so it won't be here. Let's clean this up. Oh, actually, it's in the constructor. It's not arguments like that. Okay, yeah, so a lot of these exceptions aren't going to be used anymore, but I guess I'll go through and clean it up later. So this would be action sequence error. And then I'd pass I guess I just do toString for now. So yeah, so since this action sequencing can run during the play and generation phase, it has to have its own exception, so I gotta kind of handle it like this. So yeah, now I need to subscribe to that event, and actually this should go before anything else, or at least before we listen to the complete event. Okay, so I think that's all I have to do here. Okay, so now I need to add a lot of objects. First of all, I need to do the action in state. And now I need to resolve the subcontroller or the flow controller. And this should be flow control sub. And now I need to initialize the generator I just created. That could be normal. Okay, so let me check and see what happens. So we should start action sequencing, and I kind of have a feeling that there's going to be some errors in that. But that's okay, because I just want to see how far the game gets. Okay, so object reference not sent. So we do get to the action sequencing flow manager at least. So let me see. Okay, so the turn phase changes from selections to action generation. And then action gen phase changes from inactive to generate. And then okay, yeah, so that's working. And then it sends a start command. And then we get the error. Except, oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, so at least we got to where we start the action sequencing, and all this code is pretty much tested, yeah. Okay, we'll just leave that like that because it's not gonna need to interface with anything else. But apparently the state is null. Oh yeah, because I don't even get a reference to it. Probably make sure also that I even find an object of this, and all of these will be in the map controller. Okay, so yeah, action sequencing state right there. It looks like I did go through and resolved everything I created. Let's just walk through these classes and see how it works. Okay, so on the start command, we move to generate usable memory. And so I guess that starts this class. And what it does... Okay. So it goes through every selection, and then for each one, it checks to make sure if there's... Well, remember when we were doing ability usable scripts, it has this memory table. And so if for some reason the script hadn't been called yet, like I guess if it was from another player, then we would need to generate it here. So that's what this class is doing. Let's clean this up. Okay, so once that is called, then we go to generate options, which is about the same. it needs to get the option list for the abilities, because right now the selections only contain the option index. So to get the actual information about the option, we need to generate the list again. So it's pretty similar. And then when that's complete, we move to sort. Okay, and so this part, we need to sort all the selections because we need to know the order that they'll be executed in. And for that, we just call a Lua script. Okay, and that one I know is going to cause some errors because it's here. We make stat requests which aren't supported yet. So I guess that'll be the next thing I work on. I forgot about those. I was thinking I'd have to do animations, but I guess that will probably happen tomorrow. Let's now that I fixed that one error, let's just see if we can actually regenerate Lua. Not just yet. Okay, so it did get to the sorter at least. Okay, so generating usable memory, and it says it's complete immediately. Oh, that's because, yeah, we don't play with another player, so of course, or another client, so of course everything's generated already. And so then we do the usable memory, and that's the same. Okay, so now it's going to sort selections. Okay, and so something is null, let's check. Okay, so either the cache... Oh, okay, I didn't even create the constructor for this class yet. Don't need... Yeah, I have to get those a different way. So we need the Lua container. Okay, and then these factory classes are just ways to get the Lua objects. Or, yeah, so the monster object that Lua scripts interact with in the C# code. I don't know if anybody remembers the old Lua registry that I always complained about because it was too huge. Well, that's kind of, this idea is to separate everything out into their own object. Guess I can just copy that. Oh, so I do have to type beginning. And all of these classes are really simple. It just, when you call get, it just checks to see if the monster object has been created yet. If it has, then we can just return it. If it hasn't, then we create it first and then return it. And then this is just making sure that it's some valid index. So yeah, not that. They all are the same pretty much. Okay, so what this is doing, it's getting the arguments to the function. Okay, and we actually store the game data in there. Do I need to do that, I wonder? Well, I mean, I guess that's okay. But I mean, we could get all the information from here, actually. But it doesn't really matter. Okay, so yeah, options. Yeah, so we don't want to do animations or anything on sorting, so we'll just allow stat requests. I guess we could have pathfinding if for some reason distance matters. And the sort function is defined by the framework mod, so there's only one. Okay, and so here we're actually getting the list. And let me see. Trying to see how this works. Okay, so we create a hash of all selections, I guess, to make sure. Oh, right, because this contains all the selections unsorted. So we want to make a hash of that and then check to make sure that all selections still exist in the list that Lua returns to us. Okay, so yeah, then for every selection. Okay, okay. Yeah, used to, this function would actually return a table, but now it seems I just have a list here and Lua can sort that itself. Well, okay, that's really about the same type of thing. But anyway, yeah, Lua could still modify this, so we need to make sure that everything still makes sense. I guess something could be null too. So if the Lua selection is null, then we want to throw new action sequencing exception sort selection null and list. Okay, so I do it. I do have a try catch there. Just making sure. Okay, so after that, yeah, we see if the all selection contains the selection, then we want to remove it. But if it doesn't, then that means it's either a selection that somehow was created or it's a duplicate. But I guess, yeah, Lua can't create these objects, so yeah, it's got to be a duplicate. Okay, so now missing in list. Oh yeah, so if there's still selections left in here, then that means that something was deleted. Okay, and then now, yeah, we clear this, and then now that we know that the selections have the same type of items, it's just been reordered. We just add everything back in order into that list. Okay. That's all good, but so since I changed the way this works, I need to also change this function. Okay, so I need to use pairs. Okay, so this is just a Lua thing saying I want to get every wait, how does this work actually? Oh yeah, so I got this backwards actually. So okay, the pairs function returns every key value pair in this table, and Lua treats lists as a table, so the index for everything will just be the position in the list. But I don't actually need that here, so I'll just use this underscore. That's just kind of Lua tradition for some value that is returned by a function that I don't actually want or need. Okay, so here we're just like checking for every selection to make sure that we have the speed stat for every monster. Okay, and then this is going based on player. It should really sort based on the monster. Okay, well, this is just waiting for all of my yields to complete, or all my requests to complete. I should do that differently. So, so local requests equals table. We'll do table insert. Yeah, and it's good to like make all these requests instead of yielding one after the other, because the game can like cache a bunch of hidden info requests into one message call. Is that right? So table insert, yeah, the table and then the value. And this will just add that to the end of this list. So I don't need this, but I don't really need to cache the speeds either, now that I think about it. Okay, so I've made all the requests, so now I can just do something like this. Or request and pairs requests. Again, we don't care about the index. Okay, and so now we'll just do coroutine yield. Yeah, and I think I might obsolete this no return value, which basically means just give me the latest yield, because it works fine, but like if you return nil, I think that's functionally equivalent, and that would be like some error you might want to check. Okay, so anyway, so we'll yield this request. So basically we're just going to wait for this to complete, but we don't actually care about the return value right now. Keep this around in case I need it later. So now we can just sort the selection list here. Oh, is that right? Oh yeah. Table sort, and then I give the table here, so. Selection. So what I want to do, this will return a selection, so. Selection. Or wait, no. A monster get statistic speed. So I think, let me see. How does that work? So we get statistic. Okay, yeah, so this is getting the stat name. I don't know, do I really need to do that? Oh yeah, because we need the data index, okay. Okay, so that's good. And then this class. Okay, I see what's going on there. Do I need to do this actually? Oh yeah, because, okay. Yeah, when we resolve the statistic, which is when we instantiate it, we get this data, but I can't like send this in a constructor. That's one weakness of the context registry is that I can't set like specific values to also pass the constructor like this. So yeah, we'll just use a separate setup function, which is fine. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. The value class, our value function. Okay, so yeah. So I don't really need to cache. I mean, technically that'd be a little faster, but I don't think by much. So yeah, we'll just read the statistic like that. And we don't have to return anything. Okay, so let's check. I know this is going to throw errors because stat requests aren't supported right now. Oh, it actually... Oh no, it will throw something. But I was going to say, it's not going to have to make a network request, obviously, because the game is... I mean, we know all of our own statistics, and we don't have a player on the network that we'd have to ask. Oh, but it did get all the way through. Requesting speed for egg dino. That's not right. How did it... Okay, so let's see. Well, actually, okay, when I make a stat request, I guess just nothing happens. So it doesn't even register that there's any pending requests. That's probably what's going on. Either that or... No, I did request a speed for a monster. Okay, I was gonna say either that or this. I'm kind of surprised this didn't even throw an error. Like a null reference. Maybe it did, but I don't print out the error. Okay. Let's see, probably... Oh yeah, because I don't listen for exceptions here. I think about it, I should check. Do I handle exceptions here? Oh, okay, I do. The memory, and where's the other one? Option. And I do check for error there, errors there, so that's okay. Okay, so now, so if helper dot error type is 0, I mean there's no error, then we can go through with this. Otherwise we'll need to throw something. Oh, I wanted to grab this whole thing so I didn't have to type it out. Okay, so I guess this should just be sort selections script error. Okay, so yeah, we must have got a Lua exception, and I was gonna say I was expecting one because I think this should be nil, so we should get attempt to reference a nil value. So now I'm just gonna check to make sure that actually does pop up. Okay, well, that's kind of funny that it keeps on going. Have to index a nil value. Yeah, so that is correct. Let's see if I can find the beginning of this. I want to see what happens on the first exception. Okay, so the match phase does change to error. Okay, that's interesting. The match or the play flow actually listens to... Oh wait, does it? Okay, so there was a play exception. Trying to see... Oh wait, okay, this is what's going on. So the action generator received an error event. Okay, and so yeah, then it queued the play exception. Okay, but it's still running, and so it queued it again. That's kind of strange. But anyway, then the play manager sees the exception and changed it to match phase to error. Okay, so I think I know what's going on here. Yeah, this flow manager. Good point. So go back to the player selection. Yeah, if the turn phase exits this, we should change this to inactive, because that could happen, for example, on an error. We'll do that for all of the phases I've done so far. Not a whole lot, but... Oops, that didn't work how I wanted. Okay, so yeah, in case of an error and we exit early, we'd want to set this to inactive so it'll stop all the logic that has to do with this phase. But also, okay, this flow manager, it should listen for errors itself in the action sequencing and stop if one is received. So, error event? Yeah. It doesn't actually care about the contents of the exception. If something else will handle that. Void on error. So yeah, no matter what it is, we just advance to idle. Okay, so yeah, that should stop the errors from being refired every frame. Okay, so yeah. Okay, well that shouldn't have fired there, but yeah, so okay, so the play exception reacted to that. Action sequencing, yeah, switched to idle, so yeah, it stopped firing. Okay, so that is all good. The only thing I need to change is the turn. This should only fire if the phase is different. So if state.phase does not equal that. I guess it's not a huge deal, but I usually assume that these events only fire if there's actually a change. That is good. Now I'm paranoid and I should go check them all. Okay, that's good. All right. Okay. So anyway, what was the Lua error? Oh, it's saying that yeah, runtime exception. Attempt to index a nil value. At line 9, which is here. So the hidden info request just doesn't exist yet. Okay, so yeah, I don't like the way this is done right now because all I have is just a function hook and something else deposits into it. Let's find the class that should handle. Okay, so this receives the messages from the server. Okay, it's and this requests information from the server. What actually deposits? Okay, so a little confusing thing about this is that these messages kind of ping pong back and forth from client to client. So the source client sends a message to the server for a request, and then the server sends that to the specific client that can handle that request, and then that client sends a reply to the server, and then the server sends that to the original requesting client. So that's why there's a bunch of classes here. I don't know why there's just 3, but... And then I'm trying to figure out where is the hidden info script handler. There. Stat sheet. Okay, it was here. Stat request handler. So I want to move this probably to the hidden info namespace. Bring that out and that up there. So I'll just change this to the hidden info. Oh, actually, oh no, this will be fine. Oh, okay. No, because yeah, this shouldn't be in the play phase. But I guess you'd never. Okay, so yeah, this class needs to be instantiated with the rest of the Lua handlers, but it obviously wouldn't do anything if we're not in the play phase. So that car's loud. Okay, so this is the old Lua system, so I want to do this open calls. Get the new one. Oh yeah, this should change to just Lua interface. Let's go ahead and remove and sort. Okay, this is sending a request. Well, no reason to make this a start. I guess it's fine. I usually hesitate to make things structures because you could run into some kind of annoying errors. Okay, so first what would we do here? We're gonna need some data. Script, state, and then I'll need to have a reference probably to the hidden info or stat request handler, which we should probably rename, but right here though. Oh. So used to typing state. So I just want to change this to hidden info request handler. Right now the only hidden info is stats, but probably things like abilities could also be hidden. So I want to try and keep things generic. First thing, we need to check to make sure that the state is in play phase or team build phase. So if either of these is not true, please throw new script runtime exception. Cannot request statistics at this time. Okay, that's not very descriptive, but that's fine for now. And then also we have to make sure that is hidden info. So let's just change this to hidden info requests. Okay, that's fine. Anyway. Okay, so now we would call something in the info handler to actually register our request. But yeah, let's just go one thing at a time. Okay, so this is like the netcode version. Oh, I need to rename the file. That's what was confusing me. Nothing really interesting here, so let's just create a new constructor after I parent from the event system, or inherit from the event system. Get rid of that. Okay, so is request ready? This would be, so I need to register what's called a filler, which is basically just a class that will let the system know when a request is complete. The type would be, okay, yeah, so we handle different types. So monster stats all we have for now, but they're kind of all under the umbrella of a hidden info request. Hoping that it would generate something for me. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so this is the part that actually returns the request. So some of this put in here. Let's get rid of that for now. Okay, so the handling script. We can get this easily by getting a reference to the calls, which I don't have here. Okay, so this list contains all open calls that are currently running, but, or that's the wrong word to use, that are currently, I guess, active, so they will be run, and then this returns the index of the one that's actually made this function call. Let's rename this. Well, it would never be null, but if call. Okay, well I already checked that if there's no running index, then this would return true, so I don't have to do that myself. So now I need to get the stat name. Okay, so I need a reference to the game database. So yield. Okay, yeah, this is actually the open call request. And then this is the yield request tag, which is really just what we send back to the Lua function so that it knows what requests this are. So as a tag on this specific request. So yeah, it will be, I guess, monster stat. Oh, actually no, because we don't know if it's a monster just yet. So throw invalid owner exception. Okay, so yeah, for now we just assume that it's only a monster. Okay, I was using the user data monster, not the game data monster. So now we can set the type. And yeah, the data index. Okay, so I need the stat factory here. I guess I go ahead and assign this object, which I guess why not. Okay, so now I guess, yeah, we check to see if the monster stat is not already known. Then we would actually want to send a request. But I think I'll just I won't actually do this here. I'll just go ahead and let the info handler deal with that. So that, or I guess handle stat request. I guess I should do monster stat request. And I would just give it the Lua monster data index and then the stat index. Okay, so this. Okay, so that's all here. Don't need this. I really don't need any of this function anymore, except I want to copy this. Rename this to is monster stat node just to make it a little easier to remember. And I guess this should just be monster index. Okay, so I guess this hidden info request would now become an event. Yeah, because we don't really need to know, like we don't need to know when this specific request is complete, because all we do is just keep checking until this monster stat is tagged as known. Which could be immediately or not. Let's do this a little easier. I'm just going to set these as read only, which means they can only be set in the constructor. Oh, that's kind of annoying. I did it backwards. I don't know. I have it set as a structure, which I guess is fine. I should probably, if I'm going to use it as a structure, I need to set I equatable and everything. Although, yeah, this probably is a bad idea, because you shouldn't really ever test float values for equality like this, but that's not very useful. Actually, it's just if known, then we would return float. Okay, I remember, yeah, the reason I had float value is because I thought at some point We might be able to set a string as a statistic, which we might still do. But anyway, that's okay. Oh, is it private? Okay, so anyway, now I can just do is monster stat known. And then we'll need to just fire this event. Which I think is fine. Seems like I have this get hash code. I'm not really sure why I felt the need to do that, because I don't think I use it as a key in a dictionary or anything. But anyway, so okay, well, I'll just leave that for now. I don't know if I use it. This will be hidden info request event. The event at the end is a little bit unneeded, but okay, so now I would want to pass the hidden info type. I don't even have that yet. So right now I think I just assume that we only deal with monsters, so I guess I'll just do that for now. Actually no, I don't want to. Hidden info request type. So if I'm gonna do that, this should just be, I guess, owner index, and then I'll just leave it stat index for now. Okay, so events, queue, new, stat. Oh, it's not stat, it's hidden info request event. Oh, did I not put the type as field in here? Looks like not. Okay, so I think it'd be nice if I had a toString in here so that it will actually print out automatically with our debug logs. String format. Okay, that's, I don't know, it's a little awkward, but okay. So yeah, type, monster stat, monster index, and stat index. Okay, so that's all done. We could stop now and the game would run because we already know the monster stat, so I don't really need to. So we would never actually have to send it. Or send this request. This is a good point. We'll need to test this, but I'd like to go ahead at least get some code down, and later on when I test with 2 players or with 2 clients, we'll see how broken it is. Let's move this out. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was the wrong thing, but one other thing I need to do. Here, I should generate another constructor that actually gets this information. And I need to set this as hidden. Okay, what's it complaining about? Probably this is public class and it shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay, so this class, I'm gonna comment this out because I don't know if I even need it. So what this will do is it'll handle sending and receiving. Oh, actually, yeah, the ping pong nature of these classes makes it kind of confusing. So I guess I'll have a request sender and a request receiver class, which I usually don't do, but since actually the one that sends this class or this message, or the client that sends the message will actually be a different client than the one that receives it, so let's do request sender. Okay, so it actually has like a list of requests. Comment that. Okay, so yeah, I guess what would have to happen is, yeah, I'll need to wait until a request is received back, and then it would stop sending requests out. So yeah, I think we will need to keep a list. Let's make another thing here. So public class hidden info received event. And it'll basically be the same thing. So, hidden info request. Okay, we won't actually store, well, did I store the value? Maybe, because I guess it depends what class will handle storing this information in the database. It might be good to separate into different objects instead of putting it all in this value receiver. I don't know. We'll see about that. But for now, I just really need this information because when we receive an event, I'll know I can stop requesting it. What am I trying to do here? Okay, well, yeah, actually, okay, we just hit the 2-hour mark, but let's just start a bit here so I remember what to do. so flow, logic, container. And I guess I'll just have I could just store a list of the actual event objects. So hidden info request event. Let's rename this. Okay, I should do that. So open requests. I don't really need this wait timer, I don't think. That was to try... Oh, what am I doing? Oh, that was for testing, I think. Because I would just like try to resend it. And oh, I don't know why I did that in a weird order. I guess it was a test to make sure that if I receive the requests out of order, they would still work. Although I don't know if that would actually really happen very often. Okay, so for here, I need the play phase only. And there's nothing really interesting there, so I'll just delete it and create a new constructor. Okay, and now I just need to subscribe to those events. Tickables, add new event, exists listener, phase change. Wait, do I even? Oh yeah, because if we exit... Well, these hidden info requests actually should only happen during the action generations. So, oh well, no, that's not true. But anyway, I think we do need to know when the turn phase changes. Oh yeah, I gotta get the event queue. Okay, and I need to subscribe to the requests. So event, the all event listener. Hidden info request event. And now also need to subscribe to hidden info received event. Okay, and a lot of this can be simplified. Now that I think about it, this maybe could be a bit easier. So let's do a private class request, and we'll have the net message or send helper. And then I guess I could just have the type here. What is it? Hidden info. And then the two integers. Okay, so yeah, now I just have a list of this. And yeah, I'll need to override on dispose. Private void. Clear requests. And this will just have to like dispose all senders. Okay, and then yeah, we'll just need to let's see, bool in phase. Okay, well this will actually be a bit more complicated than normal ones because this will run over two phases, but if we're in a phase that we don't support, we'll want to clear any requests. So Oh, I guess that's not that difficult. Switch. Play. State. Okay, so which ones do we not support? Initialize. Action execution. And I guess, yeah, and I guess none. Okay, so yeah, the rest of this will update tomorrow because I think this is a pretty good place to stop. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I really appreciate it. I'll go live tomorrow at about noon Eastern, so feel free to follow me here to be notified, or if you'd rather, I have a Twitter account where I always post when I'm going live. I have a YouTube channel if you'd like to catch up on any past streams, or just even see how the game was shaping up a while ago. I upload everything there, and I also have a Discord server where you can chat with me. We'd love to have you. But I think that's it for me for today. I'm gonna go grab a bit to eat and then do some off-stream work. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.